and dancing.
Now, your view is captured at paragraph 49 on page 18.
Paragraph 49.
Yeah, on page 18 of your statement.
Okay. Yes, it is there. That's how.
You
that's how
want
I
to
look at it.
you want to read that into the record?
In my view, PKTT was established by the IMC under the leadership of the President, and therefore only the IMC could disestablish it. I have heard in these proceedings the submission that no IMC had been established under the 7th administration. I submit that this argument is incorrect. The IMC consists of ministries that form the multidisciplinary team, not the political incumbents, the ministers, who may change with each administration. The IMC, therefore, continued to exist even under the 7th administration. The Minister of Police, therefore, had to consult with the IMC that had established the PKTT before deciding to disband it. Any disestablishment of PKTT would also have to be done in consultation with the departments that form part of the steering committee of the IMC that had oversight over the PKTT. I can add to say there is also a JCPS cluster. If maybe it's not very clear with the with the existence, JCPS cluster, which Minister of Justice and Minister of Police are co-chairs. It could have been discussed there. Maybe if really it doesn't, it could have been, the clearance could have been sought from the President that there is this, what do I do, does it exist or not? But you cannot just one swallow that makes summer here. Which is a Minister of Police that does not take on board the rest of everybody that is there to talk about this thing. I'm not going to make a conclusion whether it's illegal. I'm not a lawyer, but procedurally, I do not agree with it. The way that it has come through, it should have reversed the same way back. That will be my argument.
We're going to go now to the Minister's Directive of 31 December. But just to round off on whether or not the PKTT is still in existence, you recall having I'm not sure whether you call it a discussion or just out of interest, that you spoke recently with the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, and on her, as it were, job description, the PKTT was still one of the functions allocated to her as Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development.
Well, as your minister you join, I think your officials will take you through. And it starts with maybe the handover from your predecessor. The time is short. It took me 2 hours with my successor, so there is a lot of things. But then you go to the officials of that department, and then they'll tell you the duties. Hearing from Minister Kubai, it still does come through as one of her jobs to be part of the IMC on this one. That would be my latest information.
Yeah. The directive of the 31st of December 2024, you'll find it next to your statement as Annexure BC4 on pages 49 to 50. Have you got it there, General?
Yeah, I have it. Thanks.
When did you first see or hear of or were told about this directive, and what was your reaction, your response?
Chairperson, there is a funny chain here. I don't know how I got in the group of Michelle. I'm in that group,
A WhatsApp group.
the WhatsApp group.
You be careful of these WhatsApps.
I never write, but most of these things come from that Marshall thing.
Who's all?
So those are expensive, but there are other ones. I think it's Huela, and then there are people that they correspond with. There is hashtag Minister of Police. There is hashtag Adams. I think is a member of Parliament. There was a hashtag chair of portfolio committee. I don't know if he's still there, but he was also corresponding very closely with Michelle. So this Michelle, so you get these things, but because I don't write, I don't say anything and all that. I don't think they are aware that I'm there and reading these things. Some of them are big about me personally. That how criminal I am. So, but I don't ask anybody. I sit and I look how criminal I am. So keep quiet. But Michelle, you know, we'll come to that later. That was written by Meriti Haas, writing National Commissioner on the 22nd of January, asking him, why have you not implemented the instruction of the minister? This is Diaz writing National Commissioner. And that letter, I think it was 12 hours, that it was also on Michelle. But Michelle is quite big. So I received these things from Michelle. I hope they won't disestablish me now out of...
Not immediately anyway.
Out of, because it provides a good information, what's the thinking about this hashtag minister, him, and they also pray and all this. Sometimes they speak a lot of Sotho, so then I'll have a problem. But when they speak English and all that. So when I saw this letter, I said, but this can't be. This can't be. There are three elements there, which is a border issues, no much discussions. One can come on that if it needs be. There is a crime intelligence. We should no discussions much about it. One can come on that, which can be. The real one that has taken the center stage is a PKTT. So when I looked at the letter, I said, but this can't be. The letter opens 3 political task giving. The first word is in 2019, which is wrong. In 2019, that is wrong. A directive was made to the National Commission of Police following Morano Commission. That is wrong. There is no direction made to the national. The direction was made to the interministerial. That then invited other people. And it was not after Morane. It was after the president has made an announcement in Maritzburg. Later it came to Parliament, but earlier has made that standing on a white hippo. So again, it's a level of a cabinet by the president. Those two, Operation Valumkoti and the PKTT, they come from that level, and then they have interministerials.
So just Just still briefly on the July 6 media briefing. When General Mchunu'S spoke about the infiltration into the criminal justice system, into the NPA, magistracy, the justice, judges, and this was sort of spearheaded by drug cartels. Was this new to you? Was this a revelation to you? Or has this always been the case? Or is it just a recent development or phenomena? Your comments on that?
General Mchunu'S is not the first one who made this allegation of this infiltration. If I'm not mistaken, it was said by Judge Tulare here in Western Cape. I think I have.
Yeah, you refer to a judgment.
Judgment.
It's on page 6 of your statement, General.
Yes. Well, the members, I guess they have it, but the judge, this is before Mchunu'S, where he says, maybe reading that the evidence further shows that the 28 gang and the mobsters in particular are breathing heavily on the necks of the public prosecutors, not only the police. He continues to say, these are prosecutors who guide the investigation of organized crime and institute criminal proceedings against its members. Such prosecutors are under constant and permanent threat to their lives and that of their close families. The evidence also shows that the mobsters have now moved gear upwards and are interfering with the decorum of the courts and the independence of the judicial officers. So this is a judge saying, not Mchunu'S. So Mchunu'S is saying this thing much later than the judge has pointed this thing. And testing the judicial oath of office, especially the word without fear. SC, there are things that frustrate if you work with police. Now, across the justice system, one major problem for the police is something called bail. Well, I'm always told that is a constitutional right. That thing is a mess. That thing called bail is a mess. You know, you go to Chemdisa, you find a guy called Bheki. Bheki had 43 cash heists and 5 bails. 43 cash heists and 5 bails.
43 cases or 43 alleged?
43.
Alleged cases.
No, he takes the money. Maybe it's not alleged if he doesn't take your money. But, well, he's arrested now. But he has been arrested and getting bail, arrested and getting bail, and arrested and getting bail. So, police get frustrated with that. One major frustration was a guy called Ntuli, not this one. Ntuli is accused number 5 in the case of Senzo.
Yeah.
Ntuli, as we speak, he's doing 6 life sentences. He was found guilty and sentenced, but got an appeal, or got the right to appeal, and given the bail. When he has been found guilty and sentenced to 6 life sentences, still given the bail. And some of the people that he went after are those that gave evidence against him for him to get life. This is a bail, animal called the bail. So it's a problem for the police, but we're told it's a constitutional right. The second one will be non-cooperation of maybe prosecutors.
But just to pause there, it's a constitutional right, yes, because when you apply for bail, it's still just an allegation against you. Now, of course, we've got the Chapter 6 where it's murder, rape, robbery, then the onus shifts to the defense, to the accused. But ordinarily, you've got a right to bail unless the state can show that you're a flight risk or that you're likely to commit the crime again, etc., or that you're a danger to the public. But what we need to understand, is the problem bail, or is it because, for example, the cartels and which seems to be suggested by Judge Tulari in his judgment, like the 28 gang, 27 gang, big here in the Western Cape, that they've infiltrated also the prosecutors and the magistrates. Is that part of the problem, or is that not the problem? Or is it a problem that bail is too readily?
And the judicial officers.
And the judiciary.
Yeah. And
the judiciary at first instance, very rarely, they hear bail appeals, but you don't go to a judge to get bail unless it's during the middle of the night.
I think Mlife's one was heard by the judge, eh?
What's that, General?
TK Mlife one was heard by the judge.
Yeah.
And they granted it.
Well,
okay. So I'm saying it is rare, but it does happen. SC, it's a problem. I'm not a lawyer. I hear there are Schedule 6, there are Schedule 5, that if you repeat and all that, lawyers can talk on that. But I'm saying, if you are going for cash heist, you prepare. Part of your preparation for cash heist is to eliminate whoever is on your way. So you don't carry the broomstick. You don't carry the yellow dust. You carry things that will give you an upper hand in dealing with that. Hence, police die. Now, you go for the first cash heist with all those things. You go for the second one, you got the pay. You go for the third one, you got the pay. It's a constitutional, I'm not denying that. But what about the police, that they arrest this person and they still have to encounter the same person on the field and they exchange fire again? The third time they encounter and they exchange fire again. What about those? It is not the magistrate or the judge that exchange fire there, or the police. Maybe it's unfair, maybe it's a constitutional, maybe it's a legislation thing, but it is a problem for the police, that kind of thing, especially those serious cases. Many people that rape and kill are on bail. People that maim, rape, and kill after they've been given the bail for the same thing. So I'm just making the point, I'm not talking about changing or right or wrong, but from the side of the police, that will be the problem. So what Mchunu'S is saying is not the first time. Hence, it will be important that those things are investigated. But the other thing that would have been there are police officers, many of them, that have been arrested before Mchunu'S made the statement, which then confirms the case that there are police that are corrupt. But there are prosecutors too. You see, especially this province, there are prosecutors that they say they can't give that. If you say enroll the case or you get the warrant of either arrest or what, they say, no, I'm not going to put my job on jeopardy. Here, there is an interesting case here where the warrant of the search warrant was given to search one gentleman called J.P. Smith, his premises. But the very same magistrate who gave that, when it was taken to court, he refused to give the evidence that indeed I did. So that is that fear fact that Judge Turan is talking about. So sometimes I get worried that this process concentrates on police when the allegation by Mchunu'S was across the justice, when the pronunciation by the judge was across justice. But I do find that the concentration here is on police, and let other people go. SC, the biggest crime in South Africa is planned in prisons. There where the real planning takes place, in prisons. I hear less about that. You see, we arrested one guy here called Bara. Well, he was shot and killed with the exchange of the police somewhere in Eastern Cape. Bara was a young man of 30 years, and he was charged with 19 dead bodies. He was 30 years himself, was a teacher by profession here at Kailish. Was charged with 19 dead bodies. Were arrested, taken to Polsmo. He was found in Polsmo with 30 live ammunition, bullets, in prison. I'm sure he did not walk with them there. I'm sure it's not other prisoners. It's somebody that brought those things. We're told he was waiting for the gun, which means was going to use. So that chain, for me, I find it limited here to police when there is this problem from the very beginning, which is the police, to the very end, which is the correctional service.
Yeah, that's what General Mchunu'S also, he includes correctional services.
I hope somebody will look at the correctional service. How do they communicate? If you go to any correctional center today and you take cellular at 11 and you go there at 5, you'll find the new ones. You'll find the new. Who bring them? And those cellular, they don't walk there. That here we are, phone. Somebody brings them there. And who is that? You see, we are phoned from prison. This guy phones me. He doesn't tell the name. He says, Cele, Ndos, he called me Ndos. Phone from somewhere in Escort. There are 3 people that are ready to go and kill Nkosi at Ulundi. They are having 3 AKs. They are in this lodge. He called by name. I phone Mchunu'S. I say, Mchunu'S, there is this thing. This guy refuses to tell you. Mchunu'S goes there, he finds exactly that. He finds exactly that. 3 AKs, 5 of these guys there, ready to go and kill Nkosi. There was an exchange of fire. Some of those guys died. He finds exactly that. This information comes from prison.
Okay. General, I'm sure you can give other examples, but you seem to confirm General Mchunu'S statement in that regard, that the correctional services is also infiltrated. And we know that from the now pretty notorious case of Thabo Bester, where you organize your own escape and you leave a body in your cell. But let's move on from there. Let's talk about when you were appointed minister in 2018, and then the establishment of the interministerial committee.
Chairperson, there has been a problem in KZN of political violence en masse, but after elections, it was some sort of organized kind of, and then the people were dying, especially at the level of local leadership, politically, and also the councillors. I've listened to say that it was more of the ANC councillors. No, it's across the board. Quite several of the NFP, ANC, IFP, even the FF, DA, as we speak now, we're dealing with those that are dealing with it. I left when they were dealing with it at Mpofana. The councillor that killed the family stood outside and burned the whole family and said his house has been burned. And I'm sure that guy didn't know that there's something called forensic. And the forensic discovered that he has done it, he has been sentenced and all that. It's happening. So, President visited the murder scene of Kashana Mchunu'S, who was a councillor there in Maritzburg. And from there, he made a call on the ministers of, I guess, were 4 ministries. That was police, defense, justice, this was together with the correctional service, and state security. So he says the ministers of these ministries, for me, interministerial is made by ministries rather than ministers. That's my understanding. That interministerial is made by ministries. Why so? Because those ministers immediately went to KZN. Was a minister of police, Cele, was a minister of justice, Masuta, was a minister of state security, Duba. The time was a minister of defense, Mapisa Ngagula. And then when the elections came, and then there was a minister of police, and there was a minister of justice who's not Masuta now, but Lamula. There was a minister later, Mdise, and there was initially there was only a deputy minister when it comes to state security, which was Zizugodwa, and later Nchabeni came on board. So they continued with the interministerial because these ministries were there. So interministers is ministers that move, but ministries, they stay there, and whoever is there continues. That's how I understand.
So what was the mandate of the interministerial committee?
The mandate was to go to KZN, specifically, sort the political violence, the matters that were taking place there, which were quite bad. Almost every week, a political figure was dying there. So, was to go there and sort that thing, investigate, arrest, prevent, and stabilize the province. So when we went there, there was a committee, or there was some sort of a team that was provincially working there, led by a General Kiliza, and then there will be Brigadier Makashalala, who is here in Western Cape now.